Hi everyone. So in this video we're going to have a look at transition metals and their compounds. So one of the transition metals we're going to look at is copper. So this is what copper looks like. You've maybe seen it before already. And then just to remind ourselves that transition metals are found in the middle section of the periodic table, that whole big block in between group 2 and group 3. So I'm going to start with showing you what happens when we heat copper. In your booklet there's a bit where you need to colour in the transition metal block, so you could do that. And then I'll pause the video while you're colouring it in, and then we'll have a look at what happens when we heat copper. Okay, so we're ready to heat the copper. So we've got the air hole almost closed. Turn the gas on, stand up, arm out straight, and we light our Bunsen. So we're going to use the air hole fully open for this, or almost fully open, so we can see what's happening. So remember, our copper strip beforehand is orangey brown and shiny. And we're just going to heat it for 10 or 20 seconds each side, and then we'll have to write down our observations. So what's happening here is that it reacts with the oxygen in the air, and it's going to heat one side and then heat the other side. And your observation, you can see it's glowing orange, isn't it? And there might be a colour change afterwards. We don't need to heat it very long. So remember last year you would have seen what happens when magnesium reacts with oxygen, and it forms a new compound called magnesium oxide. So for this part I want you to think about what compound is formed when the copper reacts with oxygen. And I'm not sure if you can see that there, it's formed a black powder on the surface of the copper. Now if we put that down, if we scrape it off, I'll just hold this steady with this. If we scrape it off, you'll see that there's copper again underneath, and that the black powder has come off. So it just reacts with the surface of the copper and forms a black layer of copper oxide. Hopefully you can see that. Oops, in the video, okay. So copper reacts quite well. Okay, so this bit of your booklet, the top of this page, looks at some compounds of transition metals. And what's special about transition metal compounds is that they make coloured compounds. They also make really good catalysts, which is the next reaction I'm going to show you. So for this bit, it just asks you to look at them and colour in the correct colour. So this is copper chloride, okay, nickel chloride, iron chloride, cobalt chloride, and manganese chloride. So have a look at those and you can colour them in the right colour in your booklet. Okay, so this is using a transitional metal compound as a catalyst. So what we've got here is we've got hydrogen peroxide, which is a colourless liquid, and in the flask at the bottom we've got some manganese oxide, which is a transition metal compound. So I've already let a bit go through. I might drip a wee bit more, and then Mr. McCann's going to collect the gas that's given off at the end. So he's got a test tube that's filled with water, and then the gas is going to come up through the tube. So there's gas produced here, it's going to come up through the tube, in through the beehive shelf, and into the boiling tube that Mr. McCann's holding. I'm just going to add a wee bit more. Here we go. So what happens then, the water in the test tube is pushed out and it's filling up with oxygen gas. And I add a wee bit more, then we'll get a wee bit more oxygen. And whenever the test tube is filled with oxygen, then Mr. McCann can put a stopper on it and we'll confirm it's oxygen by doing the test to confirm it's oxygen. And while Mr. McCann's putting the stopper on it, I can do the word equation for you. So in your book it asks you to write the word equation. So the test tube is filled. Now Mr. McCann needs to be really careful to put the stopper on while the test tube is still underneath the water level, so that none of the air from the room gets into the test tube. So he just has a test tube of the gas that we've just produced. So it makes more sense if you look at the equation. So we've got hydrogen peroxide, it breaks down into water plus oxygen gas. And it's very hard to understand just with the words. So I've written the symbol. So you can see the hydrogen peroxide, the symbol is H2O2, which then breaks down into water, which is H2O, as you know, and then O2, this is where the oxygen gas comes from. And the manganese oxide here just acts as a catalyst, it speeds up the reaction. Okay, so now Mr. McCann's going to confirm. So now Mr. McCann has the test tube of oxygen. So we're going to confirm that it is oxygen by using the gas test. So remember, the gas test for oxygen is that it will relight a glowing splint. So I'm going to take the stopper off, put the glowing splint in, and confirm it's oxygen. There we go. So it relights a glowing splint. So we've got oxygen gas produced just like the equation.